On a Sunday morning, with a cup of coffee in hand, the mind drifted into the past. It tried finding the events that felt happy. It then went on a journey to find the meaning of that happiness. It explored, thereafter, the probabilities within those events where it could find more happiness. It slowly engulfed itself into the fantasy. There it made friends with unknown voices that asked it to explore the favorite television series and movies with the person as the main character. The mind found those thoughts too interesting to let go. So, it went on an extended journey of exploration of everything it could sift and find from the memories. The mind chose genre after genre, and came close to a few moments that it chose to alter, by keeping the person as the main character. But then again, the person was only a remnant, a shadow, in the mind's vast expanse of undulating prospects of existence, and reverence to various vanities it chose to profess. Unknowingly, in its nature of finding fodder for its curiosity, it went into those depths from where there is no return. There are certain depths that when a person starts to explore, he reaches to a place, where all the roads meet and merge, to move into a space called the void. This place, the void, is so vast in itself that it holds all our pieces. Our pieces are those memories like flyers in the air that we chose to remember. They move with the breeze as the thoughts ask for their attendance, and they, without delay, appear to be altered. These alterations also were remnants from the thoughts of the past. Some memories were altered beyond recognition, while some memories that conjured negative feelings were suppressed by us, yet they found a place in the void. Why the mind always drifts to the places where it finds a few memories to alter. Why the mind tries to play with a few thoughts, and yet it finds itself in the vast abyss of the never-ending mares of the night. How these mares show up within the thoughts, within the memories, as one tries harder to feel the happiness and yet finds oneself engulfed in the darkness. The more one gets closer to the fantasy, the more he feels detached from the fantasy, while drifting into the reality, as one pours himself into the probabilities of things turning good to things turning sour. There is an unknown bridge that joins the reality to the fantasy. When one travels on it knowingly to explore the other side, one walks into a realm where all the memories, feelings and thoughts meet. They are quite like the perspectives, as one observes the scenarios happening with them in the real world, and chooses to remember them in a certain way. These perspectives keep changing as one keeps going back to those memories, again and again, and as time passes, one changes the earlier memory itself, and all the pieces get a new life. These memories and the thoughts attached to them keep themselves alive in the mind, as feelings change and ask for their attendance. But the feelings always look at the bright side of everything, and so this question keeps arising: what went wrong? The mind tries to answer this question from the new perspectives it formed over the years. But it fails to realize the other side of the same coin, that is, what would have been the reaction to these new changes in the scenario. For example, if a conversation happened between you and some other person long back. Now in the present, the mind took that same memory and tried to check different ways of the same conversation going in a different direction. Here in this scenario, the mind answers for the other person favorably always. It doesn't give an identity to the other person. It basically tries to get a yes from other party somehow. That's the main problem. So in this fantasy world, everything goes your way. But that unknown bridge between reality and fantasy blurs, and the mind makes one feel guilty of not trying the same probability back then. It makes one feel guilty by altering all the memories from happy to sad, from good to bad, and shows all the probabilities of things going right for a person. And it sets a dangerous precedent, as the person who keeps engaging in these thoughts falls in the trap and feels inadequate of themselves. They become too conscious of everything. As the feelings of inadequacy and as such, not being enough makes one question their own worth. They keep trying to find new things to make sense of. They keep analyzing everything. They blur the line where things should be taken at face value and things that should be delved on. They don't exist in simple reality anymore. They complicate everything. They question their own worth in everything they do, and simply starve themselves out from the world of reality. Crisis of existentialism arises from trying to find one's own worth in everything, I think. But that worth has no bearing with reality whatsoever and finds itself in the unfathomable heights of expectation in the world of fantasy. The fantasy, which revolves around the individual, is a story of surreal endeavors. The crisis is thus of trying to stay there and hating one's own simpleton reality.